In 1900, a Greek sponge diver surfaced from a Roman shipwreck and told his crew he had found a pile of rotting corpses on the seafloor. They went back down. The corpses were bronze statues, and tangled among them was a lump of corroded bronze. No one paid much attention to. That lump sat in a museum for 2 years before someone noticed it had gears inside it. Not simple gears, interlocking precision-machined bronze gear trains with 37 distinct components that together form a functioning astronomical computer capable of predicting solar eclipses, tracking the positions of all 5 planets known to antiquity, calculating the lunar calendar, and displaying the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. The device was built around 150 to 100 BCE. The next machine of comparable mechanical complexity does not appear in the historical record until the 14th century CE. That is a 1,400-year gap in human engineering capability, with no explanation for what happened to the knowledge that built this thing. No other device remotely like it has ever been found. The civilization that built it left no other evidence of this level of mechanical sophistication anywhere in the archaeological record. In 1912, book dealer Wilfred Voynich purchased a manuscript in Italy that he could not read. Neither can anyone today. The Voynich Manuscript is a 240-page illustrated document dating to the early 15th century, written entirely in an unknown script that has defeated every cryptographer, linguist, codebreaker, and artificial intelligence system that has ever been pointed at it. The pages show detailed illustrations of plants that do not match any known species, astronomical diagrams that do not match any known constellation system, and sections that appear to show naked human figures bathing in interconnected pools of liquid for reasons that remain entirely unclear. Statistical analysis of the text confirms it follows the structural patterns of a real language. It has word frequency distributions, grammatical patterns, and internal consistency that random text does not have. It is not gibberish, it is saying something. We have simply never been able to determine what that something is. The world's most sophisticated code-breaking technology currently says it cannot crack it. The Voynich manuscript remains, after 600 years, completely unread. In 1952, brothers cutting peat in a Danish bog found a face looking up at them from the mud. They called the police, assuming they had found a recent murder victim. The face was too well preserved to be ancient. The expression on it was too peaceful. Eyes closed, lips slightly parted. The specific look of someone who had simply gone to sleep and not woken up. The police called archaeologists. The archaeologists determined the man had been dead for approximately 2,400 years. The preservation was the result of the bog's unique chemistry, acidic, cold, oxygen-free, which halted decomposition and effectively tanned the soft tissues like leather. The Tollund Man's face is so perfectly preserved that forensic specialists were able to determine his age at death, the stubble growth on his chin indicating he had not shaved in several days, and the contents of his last meal, a grain porridge eaten approximately 12 to 24 hours before his death. He was killed by hanging. The noose was still around his neck when he was found. He had been placed in the bog with care, laid on his side in a sleeping position, his eyes and mouth gently closed by whoever put him there. Who he was, why he was killed, and why his killers treated his body with such apparent tenderness after killing him, remains unknown. He now has his own display case in Copenhagen, looking exactly as peaceful as the day he was found, 2,400 years later, in the 13th century. A monk in Bohemia allegedly broke his monastic vows so severely that he was sentenced to be walled up alive. To save himself, he offered to write a book in a single night that would contain all human knowledge. At midnight, realizing he could not finish it alone, he made a deal with the devil, who completed the manuscript in exchange for the monk's soul. The Codex Gigas is the largest illuminated manuscript in existence, 92 centimeters tall, 50 kilograms in weight, requiring the skins of approximately 160 donkeys to produce. It contains the complete Latin Bible, a complete encyclopedia of all 13th century knowledge, medical texts, historical chronicles, and multiple magical formulae. It was almost certainly produced by a single scribe over a period of years or decades, and on one of its pages is a full-page illustration of the devil, a squat, horned, red and black figure with clawed feet and extended arms. Unlike any other illuminated manuscript illustration of the period, looking more like a modern concept of the devil than any contemporary artistic convention would suggest, handwriting analysis confirms the entire manuscript was written by a single person. A monk working at estimated normal output would require approximately 25 to 30 years to produce a document this size. No other work by this scribe has ever been identified. In 2018, archaeologists excavating a late Roman cemetery in Imola, Italy, uncovered something that stopped the dig entirely. Inside a burial dating to the 3rd or 4th century CE, they found a woman interred in a stone-lined grave between her legs, partially outside her body, were the skeletal remains of a fetus in the position of a newborn being delivered. This is a documented but extraordinarily rare phenomenon called coffin birth or post-mortem fetal extrusion, the result of the pressure of decomposition gases within the body expelling an unborn fetus through the birth canal after death. The physical probability of all these conditions aligning is extremely low. Fewer than 20 confirmed cases have ever been documented in the global archaeological record spanning hundreds of thousands of excavations. The Imola case is among the best preserved and most completely documented. The woman in the grave was estimated to be between 25 and 35 years old. Her child was never born. And in the 3rd century, someone buried her carefully in a stone-lined grave, which tells us she was cared for in life. Nobody knew what they would find there 1,700 years later in 2009. Excavations at the ancient Egyptian city of Hierakonpolis uncovered a burial site that rewrote what we understand about the relationship between humans and animals in the ancient world. The site contained the remains of over 100 exotic animals buried with care and in many cases showing evidence of veterinary treatment during their lives. Elephants with healed bones suggesting they had received ongoing medical care after injuries. Hippos with similar evidence of treatment, baboons, wildcats, crocodiles, and hartebeest all buried individually, all showing signs of having lived in captivity and received attention to their health over extended periods. The burial site dates to between 3,500 and 3,200 BCE, making it more than 5,000 years old. This predates the oldest previously known zoo by approximately 2,500 years, and it is not just a zoo. The evidence of veterinary care, healed fractures, evidence of splinting, animals that survived injuries that would have been fatal in the wild suggests these were not just collected curiosities, but animals that were actively maintained by specialists. We had no record of any of this existing until 2009, a 5,000-year-old zoo with veterinary care buried in the Egyptian desert, waiting.